Hello, everyone. Is anyone online? Is there anyone online? If you are online, you can say hello. Say hello on the comment section. Say hello on the comment section if you're joining. Are you seeing this live video? Honey, please help me post that. All right. So if you're online, please say hello. Say hello on the comment section. So I want to be answering some frequently asked questions about the listening model. I'm just going to be giving brief answers to them, all right, in this live podcast. And then I would like to encourage you to sign up for our intensive classes so that you'll be getting more detailed teachings, unlike the ones I usually come up here to do. All these ones are just shallow form of teaching compared to what you'll be benefiting in our intensive classes, all right? So if you want to do excellently in your IS exam or OET exam, your TOEFL, your CELPIP, PTE, you need to sign up for our intensive classes. All right, we have various packages for that. You can always reach out to us on our DMs or our phone numbers. All right, so some people usually ask so many questions when it comes to listening mode. You know, the English proficiency exam tests you on 4 areas: the listening, speaking, writing, reading. All right, so I'm going to be reading out some of the questions I've received from people over the years about the listening model. I'm going to be starting with this one that is very funny. And if you're one of those that have an issue with this particular one I want to talk about, kindly write on the comment section too, so we can rub minds together. All right, now, some people always complain about the listening model. Some people will say their problem is not writing answer, it's not about the strategies, but their major challenge is that accent, understanding the accent of these native speakers. You know, in the listening module, you are going to be hearing conversation. Listening is called listening because you have to hear or listen to conversations, all right, different audios, and then you answer questions attached to them. You answer questions based on what you are hearing, whether it's one person speaking or 2 people speaking, or more than 3 people speaking in a listening audio. All right, so you need to listen to them and you now answer questions based on what they were talking about in the audio. All right, so that is what the listening is about. The IS examiners or OET examiners, TOEFL, CELPIP exam, they want to know if you actually understand spoken English. All right, you're able to understand whatever the speakers are trying to communicate, to know their opinions, to know their minds and all of that, so that you can answer questions based on their ideas or thoughts. So now most people say their main issue is accent. They don't even understand native speakers' accent. They will say, the way they pronounce their words, as if they are pronouncing 2 words at once and all of that. So it's always very difficult. Yes, at a point in my life too, it was like that, when I couldn't even understand native speakers' conversation. It will look as if it's just like a sound, bird sound and all of that. I won't even understand what they're saying, but it's not like that again. That is one thing with the listening model. With consistency in practice, the more you get exposed to documentaries, podcasts, news and all of that, before you know it, you become a part of that accent. Whatever they say will not be an issue to you. You'll be able to understand their messages. All right. So now, there are so many other candidates who are even preparing presently that still have challenge with the accent of these native speakers, because you are going to be hearing native speakers' voices from the audio in the listening model. Native speakers like Canadian voice accents, British accents, American accents, and so on, Australian accents. So these are the various native speakers you are going to be hearing from in any of the audio, depending on the type of English proficiency exam you are writing. And you will not be able to answer questions effectively if you don't understand their conversation, because it is based on their conversation that you get to answer the questions. So for example, you're just listening to the audio and then you don't know what they are trying to say, or you don't know the message they are passing across, then it will be very difficult for you to get answers. So one thing with IS exam is meaning, understanding meaning. Even in your reading module where you are given passage to read to answer questions, conversation, you also need to understand meaning before you are able to answer question. All right. So you need to understand this, understand what the speakers are saying, understand them so that you'll be able to answer questions effectively. All right, take note of that. Now, accent you can improve in the understanding of accents through listening to podcasts, listening to documentaries, sometimes also watching native speakers movies. Yes, sometimes it can actually improve your accent understanding. So these are the things you need to do if you are having issue in that area of accent understanding. Then another question most candidates ask when it comes to the listening model, they ask, will the audio be played twice? Can I pause the audio? These are the questions we get to hear or from people during the inquiry phase of our tutorial. So now I want to let you know that in the listening model of the English proficiency exam, whether it is the IELTS exam or CELP or TOEFL, the audio is played once. You are not given a second chance, and there is no pausing. Okay, you have to listen actively, follow through the conversation, and then understand the message passed across, and then answer your questions based on that. For example, for the computer-based test, you can do some note taking, especially for those who are writing CELP. While the audio is playing, you can actually do note taking. That will help you, so that you don't forget ideas, and then getting answer will not be an issue for you. All right, so you need to take note of that. So one thing with the audio is that you listen once. You don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. This one leads us to the next question. Some people will ask that I usually get distracted at the middle of the conversation and all of that as I'm listening to the audio. Maybe I get distracted and I miss one question. What do I do? And I've also seen some people who failed the listening model because they were not able to refocus, all right, because they just got distracted. They got distracted, they missed one question, and then they got hopeless, and then left every other one, and they failed. Now, if you miss a question in the listening module, you don't have to give up like that. No, you need to refocus, follow the conversation so you don't miss other ones that are coming. The moment you allow the one you have missed to distract you or to make you panic, then you're going to be losing extra more coming, and that will be failure. So when you miss or get distracted, refocus your attention immediately and continue listening, and then continue answering your question. So this is one of the questions too. Now, if you want to have a more detailed preparation, I always encourage people to join our online classes, because it's going to be penny wise pound foolish if you say you have the money for the exam registration that is very, very expensive nowadays. You have the money for that, but you don't have money for tutorials. That would be, it would be like somebody who is deceiving himself or herself. Okay, so if you can afford the exam registration, why not pay a token and then get prepared effectively, so that when you write the exam, you don't get to rewrite again, because repetition of the exam not only affects you financially but also mentally, emotionally. I've seen some people, there are some people who reach out to us. Some of them will say, I wrote 3 times, I failed. I wrote 4 times, I failed. And they are depressed. Psychologically, they are no longer good and strong, and it's not a good one. So it's not even in the area of the money now, but the emotional trauma, the psychological issues that you get to develop from several attempts, all right, repeated failures of this English proficiency exam. So if you want to, avoid all of these, you need to sign up for our online classes, all right, so that we can prepare you effectively for the exam. Whether you are writing the IELTS exam, OET exam, CELP, TOEFL, whether it's PTE exam, we can effectively prepare you for them, all right? Instead of, rewriting, repeating exams and all of that, it can be very frustrating, okay? So now another question most candidates ask when it comes to the listening module is that they ask that, is spelling important when it comes to listening? Yes, spelling is very important when it comes to listening, because incorrect spelling will cost you marks. For example, you're supposed to spell communication and then you are writing only one M. It's going to be a problem. Okay, so if you omit a letter from a word, you are going to be marked wrong. Okay, so you need to spell correctly so that you can have your full mark. Then another thing some people ask is that, for example, if the audio or in the listening, maybe the answer is supposed to be a plural and they provide it as singular, whether they will be penalized. Of course, yes. Because, that is the essence of you listening for meaning. You need to understand that. For example, the answer is supposed to be schools and you're writing school. You're not going to be getting a full mark. You're not going to get any mark, all right? Because you didn't answer what you heard. When it comes to listening is very, very sensitive. It's a very sensitive module of the English test. If an answer is supposed to appear plural and you're writing it as singular, you will fail it. If an answer is incorrectly spelled, you will also miss it. And if an answer is grammatically wrong, you will also fail it. So your answers in the English proficiency test, that is the listening module, your answers must be what? Must be grammatically correct. Okay? If you write your answer in a wrong way, maybe the grammar is not correct, then you are going to fail it. That is what the English test is. These exams are advanced. They're not like the way it used to be in when you were still in primary schools or secondary schools where, markings are very lenient, okay? So it's not like that. When you provide answer in a wrong way in your listening module, you're going to fail. So that is what it means. And how do you improve in your listening skill? It is by joining an online class. You need to understand one thing about online tutorial is that you get to practice more consistently. You continue to practice. This is one of the ways you also get to understand accent. For those of you who have issues with native speakers' accents, all right, so I know there are so many people in this category. All right, some of them say they don't understand what the speakers are saying. They are hearing, but they are not understanding because of the way they pronounce their words. All right, like Canadians, British people and all of that. Some of them don't understand their accent. So when you join our online class, you join our intensive class, the things you are going to be benefiting from our intensive classes is that you're going to understand better the format of the exam. You're going to know the strategies you need to answer questions, and then you're going to be knowing some of the traps, because there are traps, all right, when it comes to the English test, whether it is the reading module, listening module, writing and speaking. There are so many traps, so many distractors that examiners putting in place just to get you confused. So you need to join our online classes so that you'll be able to, your eyes will be open to all of these traps and error and all these traps that examiners fix like distractors. You are going to know them and then avoid them so that you can have a pass mark. If you're seeing this live video, please share it. Your friends may be in need of it. Then another thing is that some students say why is it that speakers in the audio sometimes they correct themselves? Well, maybe you have rushed and you have written a particular answer and then they say no, is this. This is one of the distractors in the listening module. If you want to join our intensive classes for you to know more about these distractors and how to avoid them, you can reach us on 070-834-58307 or 090-5296-4864. You can reach out to us so that you'll be able to, understand. You join our classes. Today is our live session. Every Wednesday and Saturday, we usually conduct live classes for our students, and it's going to be very interesting. It will come up very soon, not long from now. So if you want to join us, you can enroll in our tutorial. Our packages are open every day. Our tutorials are open every day for you to join. Any of the exam you're preparing for, OET, CELP, PTE, IS exam, we can effectively prepare you for any of them. And all the modules, all the skills asked, reading, listening, writing, and speaking. You get to understand all of them and then get to know the key strategies, proven techniques, all right, special methods to answer questions and to get a very high band score. So we are waiting to get you started. Reach out to us. Remember, we also help with international CVs, study abroad processing, and all of that.